Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're here to do my sequel to my top 10 coolest things that you can do in VR on the MetaQuest 2, 3, and 3S for new users for 2026. It seems a lot of you guys love the video in 2025, so we're here with a new list with some fresh ideas on what we can expect here on the MetaQuest platform that has happened over the last year. A lot of exciting content, and as always, if you guys want to support me in the channel, a lot of the games and applications mentioned in this video will be linked down below so you guys can save 10% yourselves. But let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
So the first one here coming in at number 10 is going to be exercising on the Quest platform here. And the first one you're taking a look at here is Fun Fit Land. There's so many different like exercise apps that you can take advantage of on the Quest, and these are some of the best ones that I have found. And Fun Fit Land is really great. It has like a variety of different workouts. You can see the way that you're like punching through and kind of hitting these different blocks as they come at you and kind of going to the music, and you have all of these different workouts that you have in there in different environments, which is super fun. And then you have the opposite side of the things where you have things like Fitness Fable, which takes things in a little bit more of a fun way, where it's not a straight up exercise app, but you are still exercising, where you're actually going through and beating bosses and leveling up and going through these fun adventures where it feels like you're not working out, but you actually really are because of what you're actually doing, because it feels more like a game than an exercise app. And this is one of the coolest ones out there because not only are you exercising, but it feels like you're going through bosses and going through mini games and battling different things, and it's like a mini RPG, which is really cool. And then of course we have these sad news to report in 2026 of Supernatural. That was one of my and still my favorite apps to use. I mean, it's not gone right now, but Supernatural is one that, you know, Meta unfortunately is shutting down, so you're not going to continuously get new workouts once the workouts that they have already said to release. You'll still have the hundreds and the workouts that are in there already, and this is a monthly subscription-based app that they're charging for still, but you're not going to get like new workouts every day or every week like you used to once they run out of what they were supposed to release, because, you know, they're sunsetting it. I mean, there's a lot of people up in arms about this one, so maybe they will, you know, reconsider their decision and continuously go active. But like I said, it's not going anywhere. It's still my most recommended one out there, because even though you're paying $10 a month for it at the time being right now, even though they're not getting new workouts, there's still hundreds and hundreds of great workouts in there that you can play with so much variety in music, more variety than any of the other ones out there. So exercising is a ton of fun at number 10. The next one here coming in at number 9 is being able to play full-fledged games in VR. So I'm talking about big AAA games that like you would never expect to get in VR that we've gotten over the years, and we've got a ton last year too, like Deadpool that you're looking at here, and they kind of nailed it with this one. Deadpool is outstanding, and I can't, you know, say enough good things about Deadpool. I love the art style. I love the comedic nature of it. I love the storytelling, the action of it. All of it was super fun, the way that they kind of designed this game that we got this year. And we still have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out this year that I'm really excited about as well. And last year they also released Thief, a game that, you know, we wouldn't have never expected to get these games because they're big popular franchises, like things like from Marvel, things like Thief and stuff like that, that we didn't expect to come into VR. And here we are talking about them, that they released last year. And for the most part, there always have been really good games. Of course, some of them are better than others, but overall they're really good. Another popular franchise that came out last year is Alien Rogue Incursion. Who doesn't want to play Alien in VR, where you're going around and trying to like, you know, escape the alien and going through these things, and you're kind of always scared and, you know, not knowing what's going to come around every corner. Now, yes, I know a lot of us are kind of in the doom and gloom days because, you know, Meta pulled a lot of funding. They closed 4 of those studios that made some of these games and stuff like that. Like the next one here that we're talking about here, Batman, they closed that studio, so we're not going to be getting a sequel to Batman, even though Batman is one of my favorite games in VR of all time. They did a fantastic job, and I reviewed this game and how good the Batman game actually is here. But it's not all doom and gloom in my opinion. There's a lot of great games that are still going to be coming here in 2026. Meta pulled funding out of the 4 internal studios that they had, and they closed them, unfortunately, which was really sad news. But they're still investing heavily in third-party companies out there that are making some of these games. So there's a lot of evidence out there that they have not pulled the plug on, you know, endorsing and funding third-party games out there, which is good news, because that means third parties are going to be able to get their funding, make great games, and some of these guys have already been in the field and done a lot of great games in the past, and now they're going to continue to make great games in the future. So as sad as I am to see these 4 studios close this year, because I really do love some of these games, there's still going to be a lot of great games coming from third-party developers that Meta's going to be funding. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom like a lot of people have been saying out there. We have a lot to look forward to in 2026 and beyond. We'll see how everything unfolds. But regardless, we have a great catalog of full-fledged games that we can play already from the past years that we would have never expected to get, and here they are. So number 9, full-fledged VR games on the Quest. The next one here coming in at number 8 is Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, yes, I know Microsoft Flight Simulator is obviously not currently available on the Quest natively, but obviously a lot of people use their Quest for PCVR. We see it talked about all over the forums and all over the place that Quest is something that people pick up to play, specifically PCVR. And if you do, there is nothing like playing Microsoft Flight Simulator in VR. There's so many cool things that this game does in VR, and it works super well, especially if you have a powerful PC and you dial up everything to the max. There is nothing like getting behind all of these different planes, going from one side of the world to the other, seeing different, showcases in the world that you never would be able to visit, because you're not going to be able to visit every single place in the world, going to, different places that you'll never be able to see. And there's a ton of more content in the newest version of Flight Simulator, which is really awesome, from different countries that were completely, now completely built in there. So it's not just pictures and stuff like that, but they're actually 3D built, from the 3D adventures that you get to take, from the 3D things that you get to do here that you couldn't do in the old game. There's so many cool things to explore on here. The fact that it's real-time weather, depending on where you are, if you want to do it that way, real-time flight traffic with people actually flying around, the fact that you can use flight yokes and stuff like that to really take that experience to the next level. The graphics are super amazing. Like I said, this is one of those games that really blows your mind because of how great it looks, because of what you're actually doing, and because you actually get to see things that you may recognize. Going to a place that you have seen before and now seeing them again is super awesome, and taking different pictures that you can kind of explore in these worlds. There's nothing like this game in VR, and if you guys have access to a PC, I definitely urge you guys to check it out, because it will literally change the game of what you can do in VR, and you may find yourself losing hundreds of hours in VR because of this game alone. So Microsoft Flight Simulator comes in at number 8. The next one here coming in at number 7 is called Hyperscape, and this is a new application that came out last year from Meta, which basically lets you scan your room using your Quest headset with the cameras and actually walk around your space. And it really is amazing because it looks photorealistic. I don't know what kind of voodoo they're doing, but it really, just using the cameras on the Quest headset, really does blow your mind on how good it can actually look to take photorealistic things that's actually around you of your room and then be able to see them in VR and walk around them. And if you don't want to take your own room that you guys are doing in here, you can also just look at the different rooms that are in here, like the Gordon Ramsay kitchen and stuff like that, and you can walk around his kitchen and see what it looks like in photorealistic, as close as possible that we've ever gotten to seeing these different areas and stuff like that. The fact that we can just do this with the cameras on the Quest headset still blows my mind. It's a free application. Even if you don't want to take the time to scan your own room, I urge you guys to download this and check it out, because it is really cool to see where VR is going, and that we can take these photorealistic pictures with just the cameras on them and seeing what it may look like in the future, to just import different details and different environments that we may want to explore, and you can share them with your friends as well, which is super cool. Hyperscape coming in at number 7. The next one here coming in at number 6 is being able to use third-party accessories on the Quest, like this one here for golf, that really changed the game on what you can do in VR. Like this one here obviously lets you use it in walkabout mini golf, so it really feels like you're holding something physically in your hand that feels like a golf club, and it really immerses you into playing these games even more, like Golf Plus, where you actually have like a golf club and stuff like that you can play, which is really super awesome. And the game is amazing, but using these golf clubs really changes the game, because a lot of people are like, well, you can't see these third-party accessories and you can't see these physical objects, so why does it matter if you have them in your hand? Trust me when I tell you, when you're holding these different things in your hand, it really does change the game, because it's different. It feels like you're holding it, and when you see it in VR and you're looking at the golf club and then you actually have one in your hand, it changes the immersion tenfold. Same thing with this one here with table tennis, where you can put your controller in there and it feels like you have like a table tennis racket in your hand while you're playing table tennis. It feels more natural than just holding a regular controller in your hand. And playing 11 table tennis like this with this third-party accessory for Solid Slime has been awesome. It's worked really, really well, and it's been a ton of fun to be able to play it that way. And it's something I usually do when I play 11 table tennis on the Quest here. And then we have haptic weapons and stuff like that, like this one here from Deadeye. This is a haptic pistol. And imagine playing Pistol Whip, where every shot that you take, you can actually feel. So it's not just that you have a trigger and a gun that feels like it's a gun in your hand, which is already more awesome than just holding your regular controller, but you actually get haptic feedback that it actually recoils and stuff like that, which is super awesome, which is exactly what this gun does. And then you can use things like the B haptic suit. This is where the immersion goes up tenfold, because now imagine using the pistol whip gun that you guys just saw, or a VR gun stock as well, and then having a suit like this on your chest where you feel those shots being taken at you. So when you're playing, you know, VR FPS games like this, like Contractors or Pavlov and all these different games that you're playing, and someone shoots you, you actually feel it in your chest, because it has all these different points of hitting you that you can actually feel, whether it's behind you or in front of you. And not only is it immersion that's really cool, that you actually feel like you got shot in different areas, but it also helps you know where you got shot from, because if you get shot on the back, now you know someone's shooting you from the back, and you can turn around and kind of spot them. So it also gives you a little bit of an advantage when you're playing these as well. And, you know, imagine playing horror games with this B haptic suit where you actually feel the monster touch you. I remember when I played a VR horror game back in the day, like Phasmophobia, where I was sitting in the corner and the ghost came up behind me and really just scared the crap out of me. And then there's also, you know, the social aspect of it, like going into VR chat and stuff that you can do with these suits, where if someone touches you in VR chat on your arm or on your chest, you can actually feel it. So these haptic suits and all of these different things really do elevate using the Quest platform and VR in general, with the immersion turned up to 10, and it's definitely something I recommend if you can get your hands on them. The next one here, coming in at number 5, is unique things that you can do as far as games go on the Quest, or even applications that you can't really do anywhere else. I mean, check out Laser Dance right here, where you're actually dodging lasers in your room, trying to go around them, not hitting them and stuff like that, and trying to hit the red button on the other side without getting hit by one of these lasers. This is stuff that we thought we can only play in the arcades, and now we can play at home on the Quest. And then we have things like Pinball FX VR, which is pinball tables in VR, and it may sound like simple in nature, but the detail that you get to be able to play these pinball games in front of you and see them in 3D and see all the different effects that happen that can only be done in VR really adds another element to playing pinball games. Even as somebody who owns real pinball games in front of me in my house, seeing them in VR and playing them in VR and being able to have the whole arcade in front of you to have all these different pinball machines is amazing. And then you have travel applications like Brink Traveler, for example, that you can go to all these different locations in photorealistic looking ways like you guys are seeing here, and really explore them. Take pictures like you're on top of these mountains and just explore them and see what's going on and see them from different points and see the detail that you can really see in a app like Brink Traveler when things are kind of designed and done in VR, which is really, really cool. And then there's an application called World, which I've always loved because it's kind of like Google Maps for the Quest, in my opinion, where you're going to different locations by traveling the different maps and stuff like that. Some of them are done in 3D, and you can go and explore them with different friends, and you can have like different quizzes that pop up to kind of see like, hey, where are you, based on like the pictures that are surrounding you or the 3D environments that are surrounding you and stuff like that. It's a really cool way to kind of explore the world with your friends and kind of, you know, go to different locations that you may not have gone to before, which is super cool. Or what about things like VR fishing? Who would have thought that fishing would have been fun in VR? But here we are, fishing in VR in photorealistic locations that they're updating all the time, that you can, you know, fish in all of these different crazy locations and find all these different fish, and again with 3 of your friends, and kind of feel like you're fishing on a boat or fishing wherever you want to be fishing. And it's only something that VR can do, only something that the Quest can do, and it's really, really fun and powerful to explore all of these unique applications that the Quest kind of lets you explore. The next one here, coming in at number 4, is EMU VR. Now this is, again, an application that you have to set up, and I did a video on it on my channel if you guys want to see it, on PC. So you do need PCVR for this. It is not native to the Quest, but it is something that needs to be brought up because it's one of the coolest things ever. You can see I'm sitting here watching retro videos inside an environment that feels like I'm in the 90s, and you can decorate this room any way you want. Obviously, I chose one here that was already kind of decorated out for me, but there's like nostalgic TVs everywhere. You can see right there, that is me in 1996. We're not going to show too much of that because that's crazy that I'm in there. Like, you can watch your own home videos, you can play classic games, you can play light gun games, you can connect all these consoles, and it feels like you're in a 90s room with the neon lights around you, with all the different games and VCR tapes and stuff like that you can actually interact with and decorate this room. It really is a nostalgic trip that you have never seen before. Like I said, I did a full video on this on the channel if you guys want to see more, but it is something that everyone should definitely download, and it takes a while to set up unless if you download ones that are already set up, but it's still super cool. And you know, you could lose hours and hours on here. EmuVR coming in at number 4. The next one here coming in at number 3 is mixed reality games. And mixed reality is something that I've always talked about on this channel being super freaking awesome. And even though time has passed and we don't have like full-fledged like 50-hour plus games that are, you know, that long in mixed reality, what we do have is amazing mixed reality games nonetheless. Like this one here, Drop Dead the Cabin, where zombies are coming at you and you board up your windows, your doors, and all these different things, and they're coming through your house, they're in your actual home, they're breaking through walls, they're going through the ceiling, all of this cool stuff that you can really only do in mixed reality on the Quest. And then you have things like Demeo Dungeons and Dragons that just came out, the D&D style board game, and you can play this board game in mixed reality where the board game is right in front of you on a table and you're going around playing with your friends and stuff like that. So playing board games in mixed reality where it feels like you have a board game on your table is also super, super fun. And then you have the new game that released last year, Star Wars Beyond Victory, and I know the game got a little bit of flack because of the way that like you're doing pod racing and you're not actually in the pod, but this mixed reality game is probably the best mixed reality game I've played because of the cool way that it does the storytelling and mixing, going into VR where you're fully immersed and then you're going out of it and you're back in mixed reality. And it's the best graphics that I've seen in mixed reality, with the characters kind of just being right in front of you. The pod racing is still super fun in my opinion, and it's my favorite mixed reality game to kind of show off and see the power of it, because not only do the graphics in mixed reality look amazing, but I love how it switches back and forth between VR and mixed reality and how they did that in the storytelling and the characters and all that kind of stuff kind of popping up on your screen. I think they did a great job with this one, and you know, it's super fun, and it's Star Wars. Who doesn't like Star Wars? And then you have quirky things like Starship Home that you guys are looking at here, where you're kind of like doing a mixed reality spaceship game where like you're kind of decorating your spaceship, which ends up being your walls, and you're going to different planets and using different creatures and stuff like that, like to kind of see them around your room. And you know, there's plants around you, you're exploring the whole universe that you have at your disposal. Sometimes you're in like all these quirky different events that are kind of happening around you in this game. It's super fun and super unique. One of the best mixed reality games that you can play. And then you have things like Shattered as well, which is a mixed reality horror game where it uses your environment to really scare the crap out of you, where you're kind of exploring your actual home and different things open up in front of you with your walls. You're grabbing different pieces from VR and then putting them into your actual home. It's just super, super fun. I can't wait for mixed reality to kind of keep developing and not only have these games, but have them in higher fidelity, in the sense of like those pass-through cameras that we have on the Quest obviously aren't the highest resolution ever, but it's still really convincing regardless. So I can't wait till we have even higher pass-through quality that really elevates the game and makes these games look even better. But I love mixed reality. I've always talked about it on this channel. I think there's a lot of potential here to do a variety of different genres, as you guys are seeing here, and it's one of the most awesome things to show your family and friends in mixed reality on the Quest. The next one here coming in at number 2 is VR Social Worlds. Now, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this one, but Horizon Worlds has taken a lot of heat over the years, and I've always been the person that loves social VR, and I love going in here. And I know that people don't want Horizon Worlds thrown in their face, and it seems like obviously Meta and Facebook are backpedaling from throwing that all in our face on the headset, but the application will live on. They're going to concentrate more on building mobile worlds than they are, you know, in VR. Hopefully they just keep building both and, you know, don't lock us out, because I think Horizon Worlds is super fun. I think a lot of people like got turned off by it because it's all over your face in VR when you first turn it on with the worlds and everything, which is probably wasn't the greatest idea. But as far as like a platform for socializing and exploring different worlds, there's a lot of cool games in here, a lot of cool worlds that people have built, and a lot of cool things. And I think the only thing holding people back is the graphics, even though they have gotten better. But like, if the graphics were like PS4 level graphics, I think this application would succeed like crazy. But a lot of people give it flack because of that. But I've met so many cool people in here. I go in here every weekend to explore with people, and it's been super fun. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, you have VR chat as well, which is the same thing made by a different company with way better graphics, because you can play it on PCVR, but it also supports the Quest at lower graphical settings, and it's awesome. It has the same exact ideas. It's socializing with different people. You can go to bars and watch movies with people, and all of these different things that you can explore with people, playing different games like Cards Against Humanity, and you know, all of these social games like Among Us, like their versions of it, socializing in all these cool different worlds. People are creating like Disney worlds and like whole-on cities. It's endless, the things that people are creating in VR chat and even in Horizon Worlds, but even more so in VR chat. Everyone has their own avatars. It's all quirky and stuff like that. And using that Haptic suit that we were talking about earlier in this video with VR chat, where people can actually touch you and you can feel it on your chest and stuff like that, really takes the immersion to a whole nother level. You know, people live inside of this world, and I don't necessarily live inside of these worlds, but I think it's super fun to socialize and meet people and go into all these different experiences that only VR can offer. And you know, it's super awesome, and I hope that they continue going on with this for years to come, because it is something that I do every single week, if time allows it, on the weekend, and meet up with people and we socialize in there and just have a ton of fun. So VR Social Worlds comes in at number 2. And the last one here coming in at number 1 is watching movie content or TV show content here on the MetaQuest platform. Big screen being one of those big applications that you can go in there with, again, socializing either by yourself if you want to, but socializing with a bunch of other people in movie theaters, in different environments and stuff like that, in cinemas and parks and all these different environments, classrooms that people have made, and you can share content that people are either watching movies, 3D movies, sporting events that they're sharing, all these live events that are going on, karaoke nights that people are doing, and it's always super fun. And people sometimes share their computer screens, so they're playing jackpot games. There's a variety of different things that you can do in big screen, and I love the socialization that there's now up to 40 people in a room where you can kind of like, you know, watch content together. How awesome is it that I can call a friend from miles and thousands of miles away, and we could be sitting in a cinema-like environment, feel like you're in a cinema, watching a 200+ inch screen and watching different movies, watching 3D movies, watching regular movies, TV shows, sporting events, all of these different things that, you know, big screen offers and stuff like that. That's really awesome. But then there's new applications that came out last year like Bloomhouse that really elevate the movie experience. If you have not tried this, yes, you have to rent the movies. I know it's annoying that you can't own the movies, but from the creators of like The Purge and Black Phone and Megan and stuff, you actually watch these movies, and it takes that mixed reality thing that we were talking about before and really elevates it, because while you're watching these movies, it puts your home into the environment that you're actually seeing in the movies, like you're seeing here. So if you're in a dungeon, your whole environment around your house turns into a dungeon. If there's a phone on the floor that's ringing, it will put a phone right in front of you on the phone that's ringing. Or if an explosion happens, you'll see the whole entire world around you explode. It really is the future of the way that I would love to watch movies and content in VR that only VR can offer. And then you have things like Disney Plus that arrived this year, which is obviously awesome. It's only 2D, and we're still waiting for the 3D movie library to come over from the Apple Vision Pro to here. But the best thing that Meta did was take that MetaQuest TV app and kind of make it like it's the hub for everything. So MetaQuest TV is now like the hub where you get to see Disney Plus and Amazon and Twitch and Amazon Music, and, you know, everything that's content wise can kind of live in here, and it really feels like the central hub, which is what it always should have been, and way better of an experience than it used to be, where all the apps were kind of all over the place and there wasn't like a central place to access them all. Think of it like Apple TV for what it is on the Quest, and that's super awesome. And then lastly, you have apps that you can watch your own content in. So if you want to import your own movies by yourself, or you're on a plane and stuff like that, and still feel like you're in a cinema environment or like these cool environments here, there's Moon Player. There's a lot of other apps out there too, but Moon Player is the one that I use a lot, and I love the way that the light bounces from the movies. That makes it feel like it's interacting with the things around you, and I love watching 3D movies on here. It makes it easy to access it, whether it's on the Quest or on a server that you may have. So really, really awesome stuff with this category. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of top 10 coolest things that you can do in VR in the MetaQuest 2, 3, or 3S for new users for 2026. Always cool new things to do in VR, different games, different applications, different ideas that things are coming out. It's super awesome to be a part of the ecosystem, and you know, I can't wait to see what 2026 offers. A lot of the links for a lot of these games and applications that you may have seen in today's video will be linked down below if you guys want to support me and the channel, so you guys can save 10%. Let me know if there's any other cool use cases that you guys have. Thank you guys for watching. Till next time.